Oh hey, hi there. Welcome to the vlog, the last vlog of the season. Because somehow, I don't know how, but somehow it is already the end of fall and it is time to let it go. Time to say goodbye to the leaves and the colors and prepare for the next chapter.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being here. How are you all doing? I hope that everybody is happy, everybody is healthy. I hope that everything is fine. You know the drill by now. Let me know what book you're currently reading and whether you like it or not. I am building a new TBR for 2025, so I want to know. I always want to know, simply because I'm nosy. That's the real reason. Anyways, back to this video. We got a little bit of an ultimate bookish video in the works for today, just to say goodbye to fall. I cannot believe that it is the end of fall, you guys. Where did it go? Where did it go? It's easily one of my favorite seasons, but I always say that. And every single season is my favorite season, so I have to stop saying that. I think that like fall to me had such a rocky start because since mid-August I've been having a lot of dental procedures done and I've been in and out of the dental chair like basically the entire season, and the simple thing, it started out with a filling and then now I am scheduled for gum and jaw, I don't even want to say that word, like a gum and jaw surgery for December 7th, and it is just giving me so much stress. It is giving me anxiety. Let's call it what it is. It is anxiety, and I think that is just making me so tired and fatigued. Since like for a couple of months now, for a good couple of months now, I've been just feeling so tired. It's insane. And because of that and because of all these appointments and stress, I couldn't really enjoy fall. I had so many different plans for the fall and none of them really came to fruition. I want to bring everything that I can bring out from the rest of the year, and I kind of feel that I need to catch up with myself because announcement, I am doing Bookmas this year and I need to be like organized and prepared, and I need to have a schedule and I need to know exactly what's happening, otherwise it's going to be a fail. So this video will be just me again catching up with myself with some bookish tasks and me doing some bookish things, but this is something that genuinely gives me so much joy, so I am technically pampering myself in this video. We will do a couple of different things. I want to read two of my most anticipated 2024 releases. One of them is Lady Macbeth by Ava Reid, and then the other one is A Sorceress Comes to Call by T.K. Fisher. They must be somewhere like there, like between my back, behind my back, between my back, what? Behind my back. So we're going to do that. I also want to go and grab a couple of books and just basically enjoy fall and the sunshine and the temperature and the leaves and the colors as long as I can, because I always say this, so you guys are probably sick of me saying this, but there is something about Boston in the fall and I still want to enjoy that because now I have to wait a year to see the leaves again. So we're going to do that, and we're going to one of my favorite bookstores, the Beacon Hill Cafe and Books, I believe. I will haul a couple of books. I will certainly show you those books. And what else have I planned for this video? Oh my god, I'm losing my mind. What else did I plan? Book donations and a couple of little free libraries. Oh my god, that's what we're going to start the video with. I have a gigantic stack of books here. These are book donations that I'm actually taking to my library. I did a huge unhaul video couple of weeks ago and you guys actually really liked that video, so thank you so much for all your likes and comment on that video. And I unhauled 30 plus, maybe even 40 plus books, and I like to donate my books, and I decided that this time, instead of taking every single one of them to a little free library with like 40 books, it's quite a job, you know. I'm happy to do that, but instead of doing that, I decided to kind of like separate them 50-50 and take a gigantic stack of books to my library, because I use my Libby app so extensively. It's insane. 90% of my audiobooks and every single one of my ebooks, and I don't have a Kindle, I actually read my ebooks when I decide to read ebooks on my phone. It's all coming from Libby. And I know exactly how lucky I am, because through the Libby app I am connected to like 3-4 library networks in Boston, not even libraries, but library networks, and I really want to support them. And I think one of the best ways to support your library is obviously donations through books, and maybe if they take cash, I have no idea. And sometimes I do that. And I selected these books because they like to take in books that are obviously in fantastic condition, that are like kinda new releases and maybe hyped books. I don't know why. I don't know if these books are going into their library stock, or maybe these books they like resell them in library sales. I actually don't know. I am going to ask the librarian exactly what they are going to do with these books, but based on my experience, they are actually going to take these books. So quickly, I just want to show you every single one of these books that I am trying to donate. Walk the Blue Fields by Claire Keegan. How to Fake It to You. I still adore the cover of this book. Oh, look at the goat, and look at the goats, right? These are goats. Oh my god, I need to get on to nature maybe a little bit more often. Wildfire, Group, If You Ask Me, Castle in the Clouds, The Paris Apartment, The Witch Collector, An Ember in the Ashes, Long Live Evil, Fortuna Sworn, Powerless, The Bright Sword, and also I'm Glad My Mom Died. Every single one of these books is not enough that it's in good condition, but they are very like popular and high books. So I do think that they are going to take these in. If not, then I'll just bring them home and I will put them in a little free library. And I am going to film a little free library vlog. Oh my god, I don't know what's happening to me in today's video, but clearly talking is hard. Anyways, but again, I just have so many books. So I decided again to divide them, and I am taking about like 5 books in today's video to little free libraries, just random little free libraries. And the first one, I am taking these back to little free libraries, especially because some of these I picked up from little free libraries, like for example Macbeth. This is going back. I also have The Beekeeper of Aleppo, The Greatest Invention, Our Missing Hearts, and last but not least, We Ride Upon Sticks. This is actually something that I got from my neighbor, so you know I'm not going to take it to the library. I am going to take it to a little free library actually. Whew, okay. Now, let's pack the books and then let's hit the road, visit the library, and then also the little free library, and then we go on from there. Wow, this is like a really nice big library, guys, like 4 shelves. Nice. So I think I'm just going to put these 3 books here, and then the other 2 books I think I'm actually going to take to another place. But this is a very nice one, very clean and very nicely maintained. Free for the taking. Okay, let's check it out. Ugh. Magnetic door. I will love it. All right, what do we have in here? Oh, what is that? Ooh, George. What is it? Grim World. It looks like fantasy.
What is that? Is it like a children's fantasy book? Enchanted Glass. Yeah, it looks like it. Midnight in Soap Lake. Wow, such an interesting title. Okay, so I am going to leave these two here, The Beekeeper of Aleppo as well as Our Lost Hearts, and I think I'm going to put it here because it definitely doesn't fit the top shelf, but that's good. That's good. We love seeing a nice stuffed little free library. Goodbye, books. Sunny, but cold. Anyways, I'm done with the library and I'm also done with the little free libraries. Finally, I feel so much lighter. And now I think that the next thing that we are going to do is book shopping. Tomorrow is Sunday and apparently the weather will be beautiful. So tomorrow we'll hit the road and they're playing cricket right next to me. Tomorrow we hit the road and I'll see you in Boston city and at the bookshop.
Talk to me, show me all that hurts you did. Soak my shirt in all your tears, so I can talk with you. Breathe to me, tales of things that haunt your dreams. Set the brush and paint the scene, so I can breathe with you. The gravel spikes your feet, the cloth wraps on your knees. So darling, when the rain comes crashing in, I'll be right here and listen to you sing. Shout to me what they made you out to be. Burst the glass and start to scream, so I can shout with you.
Okay guys, let me quickly show you the two books that I got at the bookstore, and also we have two book packages to unbox. But first, the books that I got at the bookstore. One of them is a non-fiction and the other one is a translated fiction. And both of these books have been on my TBR for some time now. So, you know, it was time to purchase them. And I really want to read them by the end of this year. But my TBR seems to be really crazy, and I don't know, I want to read like 30-40 books in like 2 months. That's obviously not going to happen. Anyways, so the first book that I picked up, this is a non-fiction, The Once and Future Sex, and this is a book that, with all honesty, I put on my TBR because of the cover. Because can we just like look at that cover for a second? And I'm not gonna say, isn't it gorgeous? Or it's gorgeous. I want to say it, but I'm not going to say it. So this book was written by a lady who is a medievalist. I had absolutely no idea that that was a category within like the Victorian category itself, but apparently it is. And this book is discussing women's roles in society in the medieval times and also in modern society. And apparently the author discusses what's shifted over time and what hasn't. So yeah, I am really interested in this book, and it's not that long. I want to get to it as soon as I can. And the next book is a translated fiction book. This is something that was translated from Japanese, and apparently in Japan this book was a really big deal. This is Diary of a Void by Emi Yagi, I believe, and it was translated to English by David Boyd and Lucy North. This book sounds like such an interesting piece of feminist literature. Apparently, our main female character in this book, to escape office misogyny, she will pretend to be pregnant. And I don't know what to expect from this book or from this character, but I'm guessing that we will get a little bit of an unhinged behavior, and eventually her lies will catch up with her. And obviously, again, I'm just guessing, we will have a lot of talk about sexism and misogyny, especially at the workplace in this book. That is what I'm expecting from this book, but I have no idea. All right, now the packages. Let's open the first one. Am I the only person who cannot open even these like easy to open packages? I don't know. All right, the first one is a Taking Fisher book, Bryony and Roses. And apparently this is a Beauty and the Beast retelling. When it comes to Taking Fisher, I think you guys know by now that I freaking adore Taking Fisher, and I really like her fantasy books. I also read her horrors, and those tend to be a hit and miss to me, but her fantasy is usually a hit. And the audiobook for this book, if you have Audible membership, is free. I cannot wait to get to this book. Like, I really like Beauty and the Beast retellings, and when I heard that Taking Fisher published the Beauty and the Beast retelling, I was like, I am picking this up. Now, I also picked up this book for another reason. Should I tell you guys? Should I tell you guys what I'm working on? Yes, I am going to tell you guys. So, I am trying to find my next favorite romantasy book. And I've been running this project for a couple of months now, not with a lot of success. So you will see a couple of other romantasy books coming up in this unboxing. If you have a favorite romantasy book, please comment down below. Please let me know. I probably want to read it, because this year I am struggling with romantasy, fantasy romance, whatever you want to call it. I just cannot find one that I like. And I don't know what's happening. Last year I read like at least 60 romantasy books. I feel like I was in my romantasy era, just like this year I am in my historical romance era. I mean, like, can you like look at the tower of the historical romances that I read this year? It's insane. But I love it. I love the genre. I love it. I just cannot find a book that I truly love, adore, and a world that I can truly get lost in. So please, 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 please leave me recommendations down below. Okay, and the box. Oh, this is quite heavy. So I think we just might have multiple books in this one. Honestly, I don't remember exactly what books I ordered, and some of the books I ordered used, so I don't know if they are like coming in an Amazon box or in another box. I have no idea. Ugh, again, this is like hard for me to open. Anyways, all right, what do we have in here? What do we have in here? Oh yeah, the first book is a historical romance, The Duchess Hunt by Lorraine Heath. I am going through a lot of historical romance books lately. I am, just like I said, in my historical romance era, and I read almost all of the books from Tessa Dare, and now I feel like I am also finishing off all the different Lisa Kleypas books and series that she published, and I need to venture out. I need to find a couple of other historical romance authors that I can read while I'm waiting for Tessa Dare and Lisa Kleypas, you know, to publish more books. And I wanna try Lorraine Heath. I heard a lot of good things about her, and The Duchess Hunt will be probably my first book from her. Okay, what else do we have in here? Oh yeah, another fantasy romance. Radiance. I have no idea. I have no idea what to expect from this book, other than this is kind of like rivals to lovers. I don't want to say enemies to lovers, that's not the description, but it's more like rivals to lovers and a marriage of convenience. That's the plot. But this is one of the fantasy romances that I want to read like quite soon. And then the last book, I am so excited about this book. Oh my god. Blood Over Bright Haven. Look at the red sprayed edges. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. I just keep saying the same thing in this video, but again, this is one of the books that I really want to read till the end of this year. I don't know if it's going to happen. I really, really, really want to. I kind of feel bad that I didn't pick up the self-published version, but hey, it's okay. It's okay. A fantasy dark academia, just in case if you have not heard of this book, but this book is insanely famous. It's very popular, very hyped, so I would be surprised, but just in case. All right. Ooh, I loved today. I have 6 new books, and I am excited to read every single one of these. So well, now let's get back to the oh, that hurt a little bit. Now let's get back to the book reviewing part of the video, because I know that I owe you guys a book review. Well guys, I finished Lady Macbeth, the book that I've been waiting for, one of my most anticipated releases for 2024. Oh boy. Spoiler alert, I did not like it. I feel really weird about this book. I didn't hate it, that's not true, but I also didn't like it. And ultimately, I feel that there are so many things happening in this book that I personally disagree with. And one of the biggest problems when it comes to this book is that it was advertised incorrectly, and I have no idea why the author or the publishing company did this. And there are so many things that were done so poorly, and I want to share my thoughts about this book with you guys. And I am winding down for tonight. I already had a shower, and I thought that I am just going to take this little rant review opportunity, because that's what's coming. You've been flagged to put my lip mask on, which is already on, and also to put my face mask on. Lately, I've been using this Red Bean Refreshing Pore Mask from Beauty of Joseon. It's one of my favorite Korean brands, and I am in love with this face mask. So I will be marinating in this thing while we're discussing the book. Everything that I'm going to say in this review, I am going to keep it spoiler free, just in case you want to read this book. I want to put it here so that you know which book we're talking about. So everything will be here spoiler free, and I really don't want to ruin your reading experience if you are planning to read this book, but I also have to talk about certain things that happen. Otherwise, I cannot really explain it to you what's the issue with this book. The biggest disagreement that I have with this book is that it's advertised as the retelling, the feminist retelling or reimagination of Shakespeare's Lady Macbeth, right? And that is the problem. This book should be advertised as the feminist retelling of the story of Lady Macbeth, the historical queen, the historical Lady Macbeth. And I think that I would have been fine with that book, but because they put Shakespeare's name on it, and again, I don't understand why, and soon you guys will also understand like why. There was absolutely no point in doing that, whatever. That's one of the reasons why I am criticizing this book. And I'm not gonna come here and tell you guys that I am a literature, especially an English literature expert. It's not true. When it comes to Shakespeare, I've read only 3 of his plays, but Macbeth is my absolute freaking favorite. And I read Macbeth multiple times, both the original version and the translated version. So I like to think that I know the characters, and I know the character of Lady Macbeth, and I have overall a really good idea about the plot and the story of that play. And one of the reasons why I like that book so much is Lady Macbeth. I adore the witches in the book, but one of the reasons is actually the character of Lady Macbeth. Sorry guys, I'm going to look this way because I have the mirror there and I need to see what I am doing, otherwise I'm just gonna make a mess here. Now, what I personally like about Shakespeare's Lady Macbeth is that, you know, she's not a helpless girl. She's not somebody who is voiceless. She has ambitions, and she has agency, and she has a very powerful will in that book, and she definitely drives the plot of the story, kinda in a villainous way, because the character of Lady Macbeth is portrayed as a villain in Macbeth, but it was basically just because of the times and what happened to Lady Macbeth's character and why she was portrayed as a villain. It's just, you know, something that rooted in misogyny, because in the 1500s, for a woman to behave that way, that was just not the norm. That was just absolutely unacceptable. I mean, it's 2024 and we still have people on this planet Earth who believe that if a woman have ambition and again a very powerful will, and just in general, if a woman is strong and resilient, like, you know, that's just like not normal. Like, women shouldn't be that way, they shouldn't behave that way. But anyways, back to Lady Macbeth. So when it comes to this book and when it comes to this retelling, I actually thought that it would be the reimagination of a story of a villain. And that's not what this book is. That's not what I got. I got a completely different character, like quite literally. Shakespeare's Lady Macbeth and this Lady Macbeth, they're not the same woman. They are not the same character. And it's not enough that the character was changed. It's not just Lady Macbeth's character actually that was changed. Macbeth was changed, the secondary characters were changed, and the story and the plot. Like, everything in this book was completely different. There were a lot of magical and fantastical elements added to this book, and some of them didn't bother me at all. Like, for example, Lady Macbeth herself is a witch in this book, and she has the power of persuasion, and when men look into her eyes, then basically she can get them to do whatever she wants them to do. And I thought that, you know, this is a nice touch, this is interesting, I can go along with it, this is perfectly fine. But then there were some other fantastical elements that I was like, wait, like what are we doing? What is the direction? Where are we going? Like, the dragon? If you read the book, you know what I mean. And there were like certain parts in this book when I actually felt that certain chapters in the book and certain characters were like so heavily influenced by the story of Beauty and the Beast. And also, and I'm laughing about it and I'm smiling, and it's actually not really funny, there is such a clear prejudice against Scottish people in this book. The character, Lady Macbeth, she is a young, I think 17-year-old French girl, and she is the bastard daughter of a French duke, and he just ships her off to Scotland to marry Macbeth because that was like an agreement that the two men made. And the little jabs that the author makes and those little comments against Scotland and the Scottish people was like so obvious. It was so bad at some point that I actually decided to look up the nationality of Ava Reid, because I'm like, what's happening? I know nothing about this author because this is the first book that I'm reading from her, and I looked it up. She was born and raised in America, so she is American, but oh boy, for a second I thought that she had a different nationality, because she was poking the Scottish people, that's for sure. Now, this book was not only advertised as the reimagination of Shakespeare's Lady Macbeth, but it's more like a feminist reimagination of Shakespeare's Lady Macbeth, right? I just want to tell you exactly what's on the cover so that I am true to the book. Like, Shakespeare's most famous villainess, giving her a voice, a past, and a power that transforms the story men have written for her. Now, I must say that the original work, Shakespeare's Lady Macbeth, was a feminist work. Of course, you have to consider that he wrote everything in the 1500s. But if you read Macbeth and also if you read Othello, I think it's pretty clear that Shakespeare was actually an incredibly smart man, and he saw the limitations that society put on women and he incorporated it into his works, and in a way, like, he did it very smartly in a way that was acceptable in that society. But again, if you read the original Macbeth, I think that Shakespeare is actually a much bigger feminist than, I don't know, this book. I don't want to say that much bigger feminist than Ava Reid, because of course I don't know that, but the feminism in that book is very, very clear. And the feminism in this book is just so weird. It's really not that deep, because all she does in this feminist retelling is showing us how men are so cruel to women, and they had in the 1500s like complete control over women. I mean, again, in some places it still happens today. Anyways, we're talking about this book, Zsuzsi, and she basically shows the character of Lady Macbeth as like nothing else, just for the tool of the patriarchy that is present in this book. Now, I'd like to think that I understood what she did and why she did it, and at the end, or towards the end, that last 20 pages, like, you have to chew yourself through an entire book to get that last 20 pages, but on that last 20 pages we had beautiful moments between the witches and Lady Macbeth, and some moments that were very empowering, and I originally loved the ending. Like, I'm telling you, the last 20-25 pages basically made the book for me, and that's what saved the book for me, because without that 20-25 pages, well, I don't know, but my opinion about this book would be even worse. And I'm actually really sad giving this review, because when I started reading this book, and especially when the witches, the three witches, got introduced in this book, because I am obsessed with those characters in the original play, I was gagged. I was floored. She did such a good job in that scene, and I was like, wow, this book is going to be one of my favorite books in 2024, if not one of my favorite books of all time. And then, well, what happened? Something happened that wasn't good. So yeah, probably it's the first couple of chapters and the last like 20 pages that I can actually recommend in this book. Nothing else. I was waiting for the meat. I was seated and I was ready to feast. Just give me the meat. And I'm a vegetarian, but I said, give me the meat, Ava Reid. And she didn't. So I am a little bit disappointed. But one thing that I want to say when it comes to her writing, and again, this was my first time reading any of her books, is that I think that she writes very well. I understood her writing very well. So this was my first book from her, but I don't think the last. I really want to read a couple of other books from her. I know that she has Juniper and Thorn, which is really famous. Let me know, guys, if you've read it and whether you would recommend it to me or not. And also she has another retelling. It's a retelling of a Hungarian fairy tale. It's like something in the woods. I don't know, I'm gonna put it on the screen. I know the original fairy tale because we all grew up in Hungary, like, you know, listening to that fairy tale, and I really wanna give it a try. Again, if you guys read it, let me know. And also, if you read this book, let me know your thoughts. Let me know whether you agree with me or you disagree with me. All right, the next book that I'm picking up is A Sorceress Comes to Call by T. Kingfisher. I have such high expectations when it comes to this book because T. Kingfisher has never let me down. Her twisted, dark fantasy fairy tale retellings, Nettle and Bone, Tick, Thornhedge, Tick Tick, so good. I have no doubt that this book will be amazing, and I cannot wait to start this book. Probably not tonight because I'm really tired and all I want to do is to watch some Netflix, so that's what I'm gonna do when I turn off the camera. But once I am done with this book, I'm gonna pop back in and give you my thoughts. So see you guys in a couple of seconds. Well guys, welcome to 2 weeks later. I think it's been about 2 weeks since the last time I checked in. I didn't really have the energy just to pop in and update you about anything that's been happening reading wise, because I had a little bit of a health emergency situation, health crisis going on in the past 2 weeks. My blood pressure just got completely out of control. It got really high. I tried to manage it, but I couldn't, so I needed medical help, and I basically ended up in an emergency situation. And while I was there, the doctors ran a couple of tests, and it also turns out that I have a very significant case of, or a very serious case of iron deficiency anemia. And now a lot of my, you know, tiredness and just a little bit of heavy breathing, especially when I'm in the gym. Now it makes complete sense because my iron reserves are depleted, my hemoglobin is down, my red blood cell count is down, and my blood pressure is up. So yeah, it actually explains a lot why I was experiencing what I was experiencing since the middle of summer. And why am I talking about this, you may ask? Well, not to complain, because with all honesty, I know exactly how privileged I am. I was able to get good care, good doctors, I have medical insurance, and I am able to pay for my copays for now, so absolutely no complaint. These are, you know, conditions that with certain changes in my life I will be able to manage. The reason why I'm talking about this is because I had, again, in the past couple of weeks, like, so many different conversations with doctors, and everything that they told me, it just reminded me how incredibly important it is to have your annual physicals. I mean, at least once a year, try to see your PCP and talk to them and get them to run all the different tests that they can run for you. And these are conditions, both of these are conditions that you can actually catch. I mean, I did my latest annual physical, like, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 months ago, and while my iron levels were down, they were not this level. But in the past couple of months, my body just, again, completely depleted my iron levels, and I don't know what happened to my blood pressure, because that is a new situation to me. So you know, I just want to tell you, and I just want to remind you to go and see your doctors, because blood pressure and also iron deficient anemia, I know that they sound like such easy and like such nothing conditions, but it's actually not true. You know, elevated blood pressure and high blood pressure it's called a silent killer for a reason. It can really damage your organs, your kidney, your heart, of course, your entire cardiovascular system, and also your eyes. So it is good to get any of these conditions under check, especially because a very, very significant amount of the world population, but also like if you look at the American numbers, like so many people are struggling with these conditions, but they just don't know about it, and therefore they cannot treat it. That's why they call them silent conditions, right? So yeah, go and see your doctor, and if you don't do annual physicals, do them. And if you can do them, then maybe do them twice a year. Okay, this is just a friendly reminder. But now I am feeling so much better, and I decided to continue this vlog because honestly I was considering just to stop it and then take a little bit of rest and then focus on Bookmas and Vlogmas in December, but I want to finish this vlog. So I am finishing this vlog, and now I would like to talk about a book that has been in the past 2 weeks such a big comfort to me, such piece of joy and such a shot of serotonin, and that is Chasing Cassandra by Lisa Kleypas. I have the physical copy somewhere. Honestly, I read this book I don't even know now how many times, maybe 3 or 4 times. I don't log it on Goodreads anymore because there's just no point. And this book gave me just like I said, so much comfort. You guys know that I am in my historical romance era this year. Last year it was romantasy. The year before that it was literary fiction. The year before that it was non-fiction. Now it is all about historical romance. And this book particularly, well, I don't know if it's like book 5 or 6, I think 5 in Lisa Kleypas's Ravenels series. And this series is basically a sequel to the Wallflowers, because this series follows Wallflower children. So if you are planning to read anything from Lisa Kleypas, then I suggest that you do read the Wallflower series before you pick up the Ravenels. But in my humble opinion, the Ravenels, this series is her magnum opus. I don't really see her doing anything bigger and better in the future, and especially this book really got me, and it was really the male character, Tom Severin, in this book that I just couldn't get enough. And if you read this book, I don't know, if you read this book, then definitely let me know. If you read this book, then you will understand my Goodreads review, because all I said in that review is that one day, if I ever get the chance to do book merch, I'm just gonna get a t-shirt with fringe, if you know, you know, and I am going to embroider Tom Severin on the front. That's how incredibly obsessed I am with these characters and with this story. I absolutely adored it, and I dare to say that I found quite possibly my best book of the year. You know, this book and we have a connection, because when you are listening to a story while you're in an emergency health situation, then you know that you are bonded forever for life. So that's all I'm saying. Okay, now back to the original scheduled programming, because I know that I owe you a couple of updates specifically about the T. Kingfisher book. So in the next clip, when you see me, that is the book that we are going to review. Oh hey, hello, hi there. Look who's wearing makeup again. The first time in like what, 2-3 weeks? I don't remember. I'm wearing it to the gym because I'm going to like a meditation class or whatever. I cannot do cardio and I cannot do weight training. I just don't feel strong enough. But I'm gonna go and do some yoga and meditation and whatever it is. But before I do that, I wanted to update you guys about the T. Kingfisher book, A Sorceress Comes to Call. But before I do that, oh my god, I cannot believe, guys, that this video probably has been in the works for like 3-4 weeks now, easily the longest video that I've ever filmed. And the next week is Thanksgiving. I cannot believe it. I cannot believe it. But anyways, let's get over that, Zsuzsi. But because it is Thanksgiving, I just wanted to pop in and I just wanted to say a special thank you. And I want you guys to know that I am so grateful for this channel, and I am so grateful for this little community that we built over the years. I don't take it granted. I don't take it granted at all when it comes to your views, when it comes to your likes, and when it comes to your comments, and just in general with your engagement with me and also the channel. I truly, truly feel very, very grateful for that. And I just wanted you to know that. But back to this gorgeous book, like literally, because this book is like the design, the cover design, and also like the end pages and everything is so beautiful. Like T. Fisher books are really nice and really good quality, and she is definitely an author buy, an author read author for me. Not because of her cover designs, not because of how her books look, but because what's inside them. I am truly obsessed with T. Fisher and her. I always say this, with her dark and twisted mind, because like really that's how I could actually describe her and her work. There's just something about T. Fisher, because the way she takes the fantasy and the horror genre and the way she merges those two, and she creates all these incredibly dark fantasy and dark fairy tale retellings out of nowhere, and how her stories really make you unsettle. You know, her horror is not like that. There is no gore, there is no blood. I mean, there is a little, like even in this book, but it just really makes you just unsettled in your skin, even without really, really, really gory details. And I think that she herself describes her work as cozy horror. And considering how cozy fantasy doesn't work for me, I'm happy to see that cozy horror does, because it all started a couple of years ago, right? When we started to use the word cozy and we started describing everything in our lives cozy, and it was and it is still a cozy overload. Just sometimes it just doesn't work. So this book is the reimagination of the Grimm's brothers' Goose Girl. I never read that original. I almost said fairy tale. Is it a fairy tale? This is actually a genuine question, because again, I never read that story, so I don't know. I'm just gonna call it story instead of a fairy tale. So I cannot compare this book to the source material. I think it definitely stands on its own, and again, without knowing the source material, this book was fine, and I understood everything in this book. Our main character here is Cordelia, and Cordelia is 14 years old, and she lives under the complete control of her mother, but to the point where it is actually considered toxic and it is considered abusive. And this book is basically about her journey and about her finding autonomy and finding freedom in her life. And Cordelia's mother is a sorceress, but kind of like an evil sorceress. Well, she definitely doesn't do anything good in her life, and she's the mistress of a really, really rich guy in their town, and then things go awry, and then they have to move, and she needs to find another patron, and she comes across this squire who doesn't have a wife, he doesn't have children, but he does live with his older sister Hester. And I am mentioning this because Hester was my favorite character in this book, and I'm not going to lie, like it's a little bit hard for me to decide who was actually the main character in this book, if we had any, because we had so many different characters, and I kind of feel that it was not Cordelia. I kind of feel that it was Hester. And Hester is definitely an older woman, like she is in her like what, 60s, 70s, I don't remember exactly. And I always appreciate that about T. Kingfisher, that when it comes to her main characters, they are always in their 30s and 40s and 60s. You know, we're not talking about teenagers and young adults anymore, and they are very rarely skinny, they are very voluptuous, and they are very opinionated, and I just love it. I really do like that about her character work. And when Cordelia and her mother arrive to the house of the squire, Hester automatically picks it up that something is just not okay here. Something is just really fishy. So she calls upon her friends, and then we get introduced to a whole bunch of different characters. And I don't think I will ever find a T. Kingfisher book that I don't like. If you ever see me coming here and saying that, oh, this is a T. Kingfisher book that I don't like, I don't know, that will be a historical moment. And I'm not gonna say that I didn't like this book, but I was not wowed by this book, and with all honesty, I found it a little bit boring. It definitely stands on its own. It is a really good book, but I just know that T. Kingfisher can do better, because when I think of T. Kingfisher, I think of some of my all-time favorite books. I think of Swordheart, I think of Thornhedge, I think of Nettle and Bone, and I kind of expected that level, but I didn't get it. Ultimately, I just feel that the story was a little bit boring. But did I have fun with it? Did I enjoy this book? Would I recommend this book? Absolutely. I am working on a 2025 new releases list for upcoming Bookmas, and I know that there is another book that's coming out by T. Kingfisher, and I cannot wait for that. And honestly, I think it is time for me to go through her backlist. I ordered a couple of her other books. I ordered Beauty and the Beast retelling, and it is sitting on my TBR card. I wanna read it in December, and maybe I also wanna read another T. Kingfisher book, and I wanna reread Swordheart, because I don't know how many times I am repeating myself in this little segment of this video, but truly nobody does storytelling like T. Kingfisher, and I don't think that she is hyped enough on the internet. So if you are somebody listening to this video or this little clip who never read anything by T. Kingfisher, please pick up something from her, because you are not going to regret it. And with this book, guys, I'm actually going to end this video here. Thank you so much for sticking with me in this video. I really appreciate you. Do your thing. Hit share, like, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. I have a lot of fun bookish videos coming up, and in December we are doing Bookmas, and it is going to be a lot of fun. But in the meantime, if you want to check out any of my other videos, I will leave them on the screen, probably here and here, and I'll see you soon in an upcoming video. Bye!